Hey everyone, it's Sarah, your Christian forgiveness coach, and you're watching Forgive Everyone for Everything Every Day Right Away. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in this part two about emotions. So I want to offer up a concept of 50-50, half and half. That's life. Half good, half bad, half positive, half negative. And this is an important concept, I think, to embrace and grasp because I feel like we're taught, like our emotional education growing up, we're like taught like pursuit of happiness, right? We should be happy. Oh, why aren't you should be happy, happy all the time. And we're not taught that like you can't have happiness without sadness. It wouldn't exist. We wouldn't even know what it was. We wouldn't know what happiness was if we hadn't experienced sadness. We wouldn't know what anger was if we hadn't experienced the opposite emotion of all those emotions that we're all pursuing. We need the negative. And yet we're always pushing it away. We're always trying to avoid it. We're always like, oh, I feel negative emotion. This is something to fix. This is something I need to handle, get rid of, pretend like it's not there. We end up uh, avoiding, resisting, instead of just being like, oh yeah, I feel negative emotion right now. And that's okay. Like, can we learn to accept that that is part of being human? That's part of life. It's not something that needs to be fixed. It doesn't mean that something's gone wrong. And I think about this, like our emotional education. Again, I wasn't taught any of this stuff in school. But now that I'm an adult, I look back and I'm like, okay, I took classes on, history, math, English, all the standard stuff. But what is most important to me today is my emotional life, my emotional well being, my understanding of emotions. Like, wow, do I wish they taught this stuff in school? It's like our emotional education in school, at least mine, was that other people caused our emotions. Oh, you made so and so feel this way. You need to apologize. You hurt so and so's feelings. You made, this kind of education that we're taught growing up. Like, if I, oh, and then remember the little faces, like emotions, happy, sad, surprised. It was like there were like 6 or 8 core emotions that we were taught, and it's just like that was it. But never taught where they actually come from, which is our thinking. We're taught that they come from external circumstances, and external things cannot put feelings inside of us. Only we can do that with our thoughts about those things. And I know this to be true because you take any external thing and you ask 10 different people about it, you're going to get 10 different thoughts and 10 different emotions. So it always starts in here, in our mind. Nobody told me that until I was in my 40s. So again, if you were to ask me, like, what's the most important thing in life? And to me, it's understanding our emotional life. It's understanding our minds and learning how to manage them, because what drives everything that we do, how we think it's going to make us feel. We do something because we think it's going to make us feel a certain way. We avoid something because we think it's going to make us feel a certain way. And here's what I've learned, that I get to decide. I get to decide. First, I accept that, oh, negative emotion doesn't mean something's gone wrong here. It doesn't mean something bad. It's just the opposite of a positive emotion. So what? I wouldn't even know what that positive emotion was if I wasn't experiencing this negative one. Okay, yay. I can't know what joy is and experience and enjoy joy without grief and sadness and pain. But what I've learned is, because now that I know where those emotions are coming from, my thinking, and I've learned to stop giving the control of my emotional life to outside circumstances, I can pay attention to how I'm feeling and go, oh, What am I thinking? And then once I can connect those two things, because it's always the sentence in my mind that's causing the emotion, not that external thing. Once I can connect those two things, then I can decide, is this how I want to feel about that? And this, when I first learned this, it was like my brain just like exploded. It's like, what? You mean I'm not mad because of what I found out my husband just did? Pretty sure that's why I'm mad. But no, it's my thoughts about it. Because I can tell somebody else what my husband just did. They're not mad, right? So I have to look at my thoughts about it. Now, that being said, I can decide on purpose if I want to, that I want to be mad about that. I can decide that if I want to. But now that's what I've learned. I get to choose. I get to decide. Do I want to be mad about that? Do I like my reasons for wanting to be mad about that? How am I going to show up in the world when I choose to be mad about that? And is that how I want to show up? And I'm like, wow, I get to choose all of this. I get to manage all of this. Now, here's kind of the bummer. Takes a little bit of work. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because I spent most of my life giving that control away to other people and things. So again, once I embraced, oh, life is supposed to be 50-50, and oh, I have control over what I choose to think about anything and everything, then it was like, wow, that in and of itself like just took a huge weight off of my shoulders. Just accepting the negative, not making it a problem, not trying to push it away, not trying to avoid it, not trying to self medicate so we don't have to feel it, but instead being like, oh, I'm feeling this negative emotion. Nothing wrong with this. Now I look at it as a signal like, okay, what is it here to teach me? What does it want me to know? What's going on up here that I want to address? And it's beautiful work, my friends. So play around with that concept. I'm going to talk more about emotions in the next episode, but just kind of play around with that concept of 50-50, about how we are 100% responsible for managing our emotional life, and how we have been, maybe you, if you're like me, you've been giving that power and control away to other people, and how you can start taking that back, accepting the half of life that is negative. By not accepting it, you're just accepting a fact. Like, it's a fact that there are negative and positive emotions. Like, it happens. It happens to all of us. By not accepting it and trying to push it away, there's no upside to that. So being open to that, being willing to experience all of it, to have the fullness of a human life and not making it a problem. And then see what that feels like for you. You're like, okay, it's okay that I feel anxious today. What's going on? And what do I want to do about it? It's okay that I feel sad today. What's going on? What do I want to do anything about it? Do I want to feel sad? Do I want to feel sad over a particular event? Because in my mind, I've decided I want to be sad about that. Okay? So play around with that idea. Talk to you next time.